They are, you know how kids know dinosaur names? Yeah, I mean, they all know those, and that's why scientific names are cool. Like California Encilia californica, thank you. But you know, it's a really neat one, like the most common shrub in California, the most characteristic chaparral shrub is chemise, Adenostoma fasciculatum. Yeah, that's a really great term. Memorize it, and then have them say, okay, you know what this is? It's chemise, but the real name is Adenostoma fasciculatum. We go, all right, okay, we're gonna say this now. Get ready? So you do this with the group. You stop and say, okay, Adenostoma. Okay, that was not. Adenostoma fasciculatum. Adenostoma fasciculatum. Adenostoma fasciculatum. Adenostoma fasciculatum. See? And you get these kids to do it, and they love it. And you'll hear them like after they're leaving, they're in the parking lot. Adenostoma fasciculatum. Adenostoma fasciculatum. Shut up! Is that all right? Okay. Now. You'll hear a lot of people saying that these leaves are dripping, go ahead, or oozing combustible resins. This was in a National Geographic article after the 07 fires. Can you imagine a drought-tolerant, adapted organism oozing any kind of fluid? And this is another paradigm. Okay, yeah, the plants burn, yeah, you know, but when you got 90-mile-an-hour winds, 6% humidity, 110 degrees, you know, I don't care, green grass is going to burn. So it doesn't really matter. The resins that these plants have in them are to retard, what do you think?
Fire.
Oh, the other plants.
No, moisture loss. Moisture loss. You can't talk anymore, you're a ranger. Yeah, I mean, the resins are in there to retard water loss because they live in a drought environment. Okay. Question 2, how is chaparral diverse? There's a whole bunch of different kinds, and this is what's fun about when you learn about the chaparral. It's not necessarily what you learn that's really interesting, is you realize how much you don't know. And you start seeing things that are different. And that's what's really cool about nature is once you kind of get familiar with an environment, you go, oh, I've never seen that before. And that's when it really is neat. And that's when you go, I don't know, right? So there's 7 main types of chaparral. There's, oh, yeah, right, I said that before. There's chemise chaparral, and there's red shank chaparral. This is off of that road that goes to Mount Laguna, Sunshine Highway. They're really pretty.
Sunrise.
And then there's,
Sunrise.
Sunrise. What did I say?
Sunshine.
Sunshine, whatever. And this is Ceanothus chaparral up on the hill here. And why am I calling them by names of plants? Because almost 90% of the cover is that plant. Yeah. Okay. Then there's mixed chaparral. What do you think is in mixed chaparral? Why is it called mixed chaparral?
It's got more than one.
What?
It's got more than one.
Correct. It's good. You're really good. You're getting better. Okay. There's maritime chaparral, which is really, really, really cool. It's right on the coast. Not a lot of this left anymore, obviously, because of development. Then there's scrub oak chaparral, which is really neat. There's a nice stand of this in Scripps, along Scripps Parkway. There's a development here, there, in a soccer field. But there's this, it looks like about a 25-acre patch. And it's probably, gosh, I don't know, 120 years old, 130 years old. And you get down in there, and it's like a little elfin forest. And there's Manzanita chaparral. When I go hiking, sometimes I get so into it, I just kind of vanish. This is montane chaparral. It's basically just a high elevational thing. So there's all sorts of cool types of chaparral plants. Chaparral types. And there's basically a number of chaparral species that are key. That if you know all these, you kind of know most of the chaparral plants, really. So what's that? Go ahead. Nancy, okay, next. What's that? Ceanothus. Very good. What's that? Chemise. The most common shrub west of the Sierras in California. Okay, chemise. Don't say acorns. Scrub oak. Okay. That's kind of a rare one that you don't often see. You know what that one is? What? Remus? Oh, that's yeah, but they don't have those seeds. The leaves actually look like that. Okay, go ahead. Mount mahogany? You don't really see these except in the summer months when the little seeds come up. And then that's kind of a rare one. We don't have much of it. Silicosbush. Okay. And there's some very pushy animals. You know what this is? This is the most common chaparral. You always hear them. You very rarely see them.
California Gnatcatcher.
Who said tit? Titmouse. There's a lot of tits in the chaparral. There's titmice. Bush tits. Wren tits. There's even a great tit in England. When I have elementary school, and especially junior high schools, kids, I talk about that a lot. It's kind of weird reactions. Okay, the wren tit has a cool little call. You all heard it. Heard that? Okay, now let's do that together. Now, you can't whistle, I want you to hum. And if you don't do it, I'll make you come up here by yourself. I'm watching. Okay, ready? Want me to do it one more time? Do some practice? Okay, don't do it yet. Okay. Flower there. Job! That is a courtship display for the wren tit, and I'm wondering.
She thinks you're a bird and she doesn't like birds.
Oh, really?
Doesn't like birds.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Okay. These birds, they have territories of an acre and a half, and they live for about 10 to 12 years. They mate for life, and they're really cool. No yawning.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is still early for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's some mammals out there, like the big-eared wood rat, and they're actually wood rats are kind of cool because they actually have fur on their tails, which rats don't have. So they're very different. Then there's a lot of reptiles out there. That's the red diamond rattlesnake. Is it red? I always get this wrong. Red what?
Redback.
Is it redback diamond snake?
Is that redback?
Red diamond rattlesnake? I keep wanting to say, yeah, okay. I don't do reptiles very well, so okay, next. And then there's a wonderful, wonderful group of arthropods and insects out there. This is the Ceanothus silk moth. And what do you think their larvae eat? Ceanothus, right. So, yes.
We have a free lecture at the Interpretive Center in the Alpine Forest on somebody who's going to be talking about how he raises them, and he'll bring some with him, and he'll be talking about them in detail if you're interested in that.
Is that Kirby?
It's Marvin.
What about Kirby?
I don't know Kirby. It's a good name though. But I think it's the 28th. I will find that out. It's on the website for the Escondido Creek Conservancy.
Kirby had a house that got burned in 07, but there's like a bunker up on the hill. I think you can still see it. It didn't burn. It was on this. There's this giant bunker that he built. And you know what was in there? The world's most complete, expansive collection of silk moths.
Wow.
Yeah, and it, of course survived. That's incredible. Anyway, he walks around bare feet and wears shoes, which is he's Costa Rican. These are yucca moths. You know about the story there? Really cool. They developed this symbiotic relationship with the yucca plant, and they have these little structures in the front of their little bases that actually ball up the pollen, and they go to the stigma of the yucca, and they sit there and go, and they pound it into the stigma. You need to get control of your offspring.
I know, she's
Throws me off my game. Okay, so they are pretty cool. So insects are really neat, and there's a lot of fun insect stories that you can kind of elaborate on. Don't make up things, you know, but still. Okay.
So what do they get out of it?
Oh, good question. What I'm glad you said that. See, this is what happens. You talk so fast.
You get attacked by dogs.
Yes, I do. See, thank you. They lay their eggs on the ovary, and then the offspring will eat maybe a quarter to half the seeds, and then that's what they get out of it. So, and if you go, one of the neatest things to do is to go find a yucca stalk, and just, you can spend a whole day there where the flower is, because there's literally hundreds of species that use that thing. It's an explosive piece of food that's displaying, and just mobs of insects, beetles, bees, moths, and even, not so much here, but south of the border, there's bats and everything else. Okay. And then, of course, we have the California grizzly bear, and there's a reason it's on the state flag. It was pretty much the premier dominant creature on the landscape. The Indians were terrified of them. We wiped them out about 100 years ago. Good. You know who these guys are? They're the ones that killed the last one in Southern California. And good. And there's the article about it, 1908. And there's a picture of her. So that's the last grizzly bear in Southern California. Up to Bucco Canyon there, behind Santa Ana. And these animals must have had a huge impact on the landscape because they would make these trails, basically, in the Chaparral. Go ahead. And it'd be tunnels like this. This is on the backside of Bernardo Mountain before it burned. Anyway, can you imagine going, yeah, that's fine, going in there and seeing this guy coming at you? Really quite phenomenal. So they had a characteristic hump on their back. And they still probably have trails out there in the Chaparral because they do the same trail generation after generation, put the paw in the same place over and over and over. So in these old Chaparral stands are 100, 150 years old. There's probably some old trails out there still. And there used to be a lot more predators out here too. Jaguars were all over the place. There's the only big predator now is the mountain lion. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because a lot of these animals are gone because of our influences, but there's one animal, in fact, that's actually still around, mainly because of our efforts, and that's the California condor. And the only reason they exist is because of wide, expansive stands of, guess what? The Chaparral. And this is a phenomenal story, too. All right. So, next. So I'm going to just wrap this up real quick about fire. There's a lot of issues here. We should have another presentation on this, but you mentioned the whole thinning thing and all of that. Let me just give you the basic gist about fire in Chaparral. Right now, there are so many people on the landscape igniting so many fires. There's more fire on the landscape than these ecosystems can tolerate. And as a consequence, if you shorten the time period when fires return, and we're talking less than 20 years between, what starts happening is significant dropout of species starts to occur. Because there's a lot of species in the Chaparral that require 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 years sometimes for the system to recover enough to properly allow them to reproduce successfully. So when you have increasing numbers of fires on the landscape, you start losing ceanothus, even some of the re-sprouters like chemise and laurel sumac and those kind of shrubs you've seen. The starch storage in the underground lignotuber, which is like a burrow underground, doesn't get accumulated enough for the thing to recover, and so as a consequence they start dropping out until finally what you can get, if you drive up the road through Escondido up to Ramona, what is that, 78 or something, and you look on the south facing slope, basically what it is, it's a hillside of laurel sumac shrubs amongst a sea of non-native grasses, and that's what a lot of landscapes have become.
In 2003 and then 2007.
Yeah, well, there's that. About 70,000 acres got burned in 07 that had burned in 03. And so those landscapes now have been just hammered, and they're not coming back. Now, this is contrary to what you hear all the time. The Chaparral needs to burn. It's made to burn. It's healthy. It clears out the underbrush. How many of you have fire insurance? Okay. So you're adapted to fire. We have to burn you out every 30 years, right? Right? Isn't that why you have fire insurance? No. Why do you have fire insurance? I'll tell you. It's a rhetorical question. You have it so you can survive after the fire and rebuild. These plants, yes, they have fire adaptations, but it doesn't mean they need to burn. It just means that the ones who didn't have one around anymore, these adaptations allow these organisms to bounce back. And old growth chaparral can exist for hundreds of years without fire, and it's perfectly beautiful. It's an incredibly dynamic ecosystem. But what's happened is there's just too many fires. And the notion about fire suppression has allowed an unnatural accumulation of fuel to accumulate. That's just not true. It may apply to certain forested systems like ponderosa pine forest in Arizona, but not in Chaparral. So what we're facing now, and you talked about climate change, is a lot of the Chaparral is slowly disappearing because there's just too many fires on the landscape and it can't bounce back. And, so you're going to hear a wholly different story from other people, but that's the science. And unfortunately, there's a huge amount of money promoting the alternative version, which which is chaparral needs to burn, there's too much of it, we need to add fire to it, blah, 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 blah. And it's the previous story I talked about clean back on, that's another issue altogether. But, you know, it's a real interesting paradigm shift. Because it's really hard to convince people who actually, their career is to do treatments and that kind of stuff in the chaparral, to convince them actually their career is not really reflecting reality. But there's lots of money, and sometimes you probably have realized when you can't figure something out why people do what they do, it's often has to do with money. I don't know why that is. Anyway, so I'm going to conclude that because you've got other things going on. Anybody have any questions about anything at all? Did y'all get my flyer? Okay. Anybody want to like say something about, I don't know, a comment? I can't clap yet. Something? How about fire questions? I'll take fire questions now.
Aren't there are still some seeds though that do require fire to crack open? Right?
Yeah, like ceanothus, bush poppy, they have to be heated. And what happens is there's a little hole at the top of the seeds that when they get heated, the hole kind of like opens up. And then that allows what to get into the seed?
Water.
Right, and then it germinates. There's a bunch of other plants like manzanita and virtually all the wildflowers that come up after fires. They don't require heat, but they require the chemical that's in the charred wood or the smoke to stimulate germination. We don't know exactly what's causing that process, but that's what they need. Now, in anything, if you put all your eggs in one basket, what's going to happen? You're going to have a bad basket when it drops. So a lot of these plants have polymorphic seeds, meaning they always have a few that will germinate anyway. So oftentimes in these fuel breaks, you'll get ceanothus popping up. And why is that? Well, because the hand crew's tool hit the seed and scraped it just enough to pop that hole open and it pops up. Interestingly enough, what's happening in the Santa Monica Mountains is because of the drought, a lot of the ceanothus are dying back. They're dying. Surprisingly, ceanothus is one of the most resilient drought resilient plants on the planet. They can deal with extreme levels of water stress. What that means is, the columns of xylem, the tubes in the stems of the plants, have to maintain, like in a straw, water. And if the water straw basically pops and there's an air bubble in there, it's like an embolism, a heart attack, and everything above that's going to die, right? So these plants really are able to resist that to a point where most other plants wouldn't, but even they can't stand it. So these plants have been dying, and what's happening is opening up the canopy, it's allowing the sun to hit the ground, heating the ground, causing the ceanothus seedlings to germinate in the summer, which they can't survive because there's no rain. And so what's happening is the seed bank is slowly being taken out by the drought, and that's the climate change thing. So, there's that.
What do you think would be replaced by?
I don't, well, the re-sprouters are the ones that are going to hang in there the most, like coral sumac and stuff. We'll probably, if things continue the way they're continuing, we'll probably lose a good number of ceanothus and those kinds of things. But, these seeds can stay in the soil if they're left alone for hundreds of years, so they don't need to be, burned. I had a woman in the Forest Service get really upset at me because she says, "Oh, those seeds, the chaparral is definitely biodiversity. We gotta burn it for those seeds to come out because they." Let's calm down. The fire is coming. We don't have to worry about it. It's going to eventually, happen. You don't have to light it off. This is the natural thing. It's supposed to be the way it is. Shrubs grow, they get big, and this story here is. Chaparral is a crown fire system. You can't light the grass under the shrub and just let the little 1-foot area burn. Okay, shrubs, the whole thing's going to take off. Right? People have tree mindsets because everybody loves trees. They think all fires anywhere, shrub ones, etc., are supposed to just be quiet little fires underneath and not burn out the trees. The reality is there's crown fire regimes and there's surface fire regimes, and sometimes you get these crown fires to happen. So. Anyway, did that answer your question? Somebody asked a question. I don't even know. Hi. How come you're late? Well, you're going to give a talk.
Yeah.
Really
I have a half hour yet.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
Early.
So you want to just plug the
Oh yeah. So we're going to start in the Elfin Forest at the Visitor Center down there, starting May 3rd or 6th, or what is that?
And they don't have any context at all for this.
Oh, they don't?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, they know, they don't. Do you know where the visitor center is?
They know that.
Okay.
I hope.
I hope. Well, we're going to start this Chaparral Naturalist program at the visitor center the first weekend in May. And it's going to go through 6 Saturdays in a row, 9 to noon. And it's going to be me and a couple other guys. And it's going to be a totally interactive kind of process where there's this kind of flower stuff going on all the time. And to try to teach you how to inspire others to inspire. Because the point is, you know, you take the typical docent training things, you have these experts going, wah, 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 right? And you go out and you're supposed to go, wah, 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 and by the time everybody's wah, 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 you're dead. You know, it's just, so we're trying to create a whole new paradigm on how to teach this whole really wonderful stuff. So we're going to start that. And then if you want to go on and become an actual docent, or what, I hate that word. I feel like there's a little, anyway. You want to become like a volunteer at the Alpine Forest Finder, you can take this training and do something else somewhere else, or just become like a famous park ranger like one. But it's a great start. So anyway, you can go on our website, which is on that paper, and there's a page that says, I think it says Nature Education. You go there, and it's Chaparral Naturalist Program, and you can sign up there on the email, get a contact list, and we're hoping to have like 30, 35 people. Is that what we said? Yeah. And it's going to fill up pretty quick. So if you want to do that, you might want to sign up as soon as possible. Actually, we don't really have sign-ups yet. You're just signing up for information. And once we get that going, we'll send that to you. So, and if you know me, see, you go, God, I was in that class that you did at the thing, and I thought you were so great. And I go, your application's already going, it's going to put that one over in that pile that we're going to keep that guy. You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. So, love to have you as members of this, and if you want my book, and I'll be here for a little bit. And then, are you gonna have a break or something?
Yeah, we'll take a 10-minute break. Thank you, Rick.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Isn't he
Thank
good?
you.
Sorry. So we had 10 minutes, and Jonathan will be talking about radios and tablets for 20, and then at 11 we'll have Tanya talk about trail.
Yeah, hopefully Don will be here.
Yeah. So we'll meet back here at what? 10:45.
Like, hey, this is time for pop.
That was the thing you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay, let's remind you. There you go. Send me a note. So wait, you go to school now, or were you gonna?
Yeah, I'm at college.
Oh, you
I have a
will?
2-year degree at Bio.
Yeah, where'd you start last year or the year before? Or?
No, I'm actually now in my 3rd year. So
Oh, you really?
I'm kind of taking my time because I was stuck in school. I didn't really want to.
Yeah, you know, it's just so, it just gets you so
It's
down.
easy.
Good. What are you taking over there?
Right now I'm taking 2 classes because I just got out of